Brian Grimes, your real estate mentor, back with another action-packed session. Today, we're going to be doing a Q&A live session. So if you guys have questions, this is your chance to ask me anything about real estate. I've compiled all of the questions that I've gotten from you guys, my mentees, over the last several weeks. So we're going to go through a few of those. Many of those are focused on out-of-state investing. So definitely drop your questions in as we flow through this. If you're new to the channel, like, comment, subscribe, leave a comment that says I subscribe. For everyone who leaves that comment, I'm going to send you instant access to one of my free real estate trainings. It'll show you how to get started in this game. So make sure you tap in there. We just got finished an amazing real estate ride-along tour. We saw the most properties for any tour. So we actually saw 17 properties in a day. So shout out to everybody who spent the day with me this past Saturday. Absolutely amazing, action-packed. We saw flips, buy and hold deals. It's perfect for you if you're just getting started, if you have fear of construction, or if you want to see how to invest out of state, if you want to learn that process hands-on. A lot of us learn better hands-on than we do the other way around. So make sure you just reach out, DM me ride along if you want to tap into the next ride along tour. We're going to do that probably the second week of January. Yeah, Mike Morgan said the ride along was lit. 17 houses. Yeah, we've never seen that many houses before. Usually we only see 14, 15, but we actually were able to reformat it a bit so we could see more. So reach out about that. Those tickets are already selling. People are already asking for them. So I'm sure they'll sell out quickly. If you're interested in our Boots on the Ground program, we only have a few spots open kind of all the time, but we maybe have 1 or 2 spots, I think, left for the month, probably 1. DM me Boots on the Ground or text me Boots on the Ground if you want to learn how me and my team can find, finance, rehab, tenant, and manage properties for you. And then we have our Inner Circle program. If you just want to tap into the knowledge, you're just getting started, you can reach out about that. But guys, any questions that you have, just go ahead and DM me and we will answer all your questions, or drop them in the chat, drop them in the comment section. We'll answer your questions as we flow through this thing. Let's get into the mindset, and then we'll just jump into some of the questions. And I'll stop as you guys have questions on IG or on the YouTube, and we'll see how long we flow for. So the mindset for the day, real estate wealth builds over time. So if you're a real estate investor, your wealth builds over the course of time, which means patience is crucial in this game. I've seen way too many people come into the game and they want very fast results. They live in that instantaneous gratification era where they think real estate is like crypto. I just want to come in, slap some money in. How much of a return do I get? How fast can I go? This game requires a lot of patience. I haven't seen anyone on the flip side who's stuck with the game of real estate not achieve their goals, not get to financial freedom, not be able to build more wealth, not become a more powerful version of themselves. So even if you're still working a 9 to 5, if you're a real estate investor, you're working and you're putting yourself in a position to build wealth on the side. So you're now making what I believe to be more sense out of your earned income, out of your W-2 income. But I haven't seen any real estate investors who stick with this thing for the course of, I won't even say 10 years, maybe even 4 or 5 years, not hit their goals. But patience is required. This is not necessarily a game that you're going to come into and certainly not in a month or 2 be where you want to be. You'll be on the path, but you're not going to be where you want to be. We do have things like the Boots on the Ground program where we can accelerate you. Even that requires some patience. With patience, I've seen, I actually just got a text from one of our Boots on the Ground members this month. They did a refinance and the ARV came in like 50K, 60K over what they were expecting. So we see things like that, but even that requires patience. You have to be patient in this game. If you're not able to give yourself enough time to get results, you just won't get them. It doesn't mean the game doesn't work. It doesn't mean real estate is broken. It just means you're not going to get the results that you're looking for. So you have to give yourself enough time to get ahead in this game, enough time to learn as well, learn the ropes. Real estate is not easy in the sense that you need a lot of knowledge in order to get over the hump in this game. You need what I call critical mass knowledge. You need to know 51% of any strategy that you're tackling. You need to know at least 51% of the information that you would need in order to be able to accelerate fast, so that anyone would know within that discipline. So if you're going to be a buy and hold or a burst strategist, you're going to have to learn how to navigate lenders, how to deal with contractors, and how to find good properties. In doing that, you'll know enough to get really good deals. You can figure out the tenanting, you can figure out evictions, you can figure out some of those other things on the back end. You'll be able to start getting results. But you have to get in, learn the game, give yourself time, give yourself patience. Some people work 20, 30 years on a W-2, working a 9 to 5. They won't give themselves 2 years of putting in an equivalent amount of time into real estate. So you have to examine that. Is there a fear of failure? What's really holding you back in this game? What's preventing you from giving yourself enough time to learn so that you can accelerate? You have to examine yourself. You have to take that time and really examine it. Let's get into some of the questions. So here's the question I get a ton. How much money do I need to start investing as a real estate investor, especially if I'm brand new? Let me spin this a little bit so we get the full question. How much money do I need to get started? To me, you need, it looks like we have a couple questions coming in. You need, it depends on your strategy, right? So if you're going to invest without cash or credit, you don't need that much money. You probably only need, like, I'll say 5K or less, somewhere between 0 to 5K. If you have 0, there are ways to kind of game the system and get traction if you have the right knowledge, even if you're starting off flat. And nobody's really at 0 from what I've seen. You could be living paycheck to paycheck, but that could be a matter of just making different choices. When I was paycheck to paycheck, I was like straight dollar menu. Like I was on that KFC dollar menu. Those, I forget what they call those, fill up bowls or whatever they got. Like I was just hitting moves. My breakfast spot, one of my buddies knows, I used to take him to, we used to spend like $6 on breakfast, $5 on breakfast. So it's like making those decisions to save as much as possible to put into your real estate game. That's part of the patience. That's part of the delayed gratification of it. It's not all going to be you running in and pulling money out of the game. Sometimes you're going to run in and you're just going to keep pouring in. There are 2 seasons of real estate investing. One where you're pouring money out, one where money's coming back. You can only get to the second one by going through the first one. That's just a game. But how much money you need depends on your strategy. So if you're going with creative financing, you're just trying to find motivated sellers and wholesale and get deals under contract and sell them to other investors and mark them up and make a profit, that's you don't need much money. If you're going to go into the burst strategy, hey, I want to buy and hold. I want to buy and hold and build cash flow. You're going to need a little bit more money to do that. You're going to need about, I would say 20, you're going to need about 20 to maybe 30,000. If you have a good construction lender, 20 to 30,000, you can get into the buy and hold game. You can definitely get into the house hack game. You can absolutely get into the house hack game if you're going to start there. So 20 to 30,000. If you're going to start flipping, I always say you want about $50,000 to flip, in my opinion. That's what a guy told me when I was just getting started in this game. I said, hey, how much do I need? And I was maybe like 25. He said, if you get 50,000 and you tackle this game the right way, you can flip that 50 into 100 and then just kind of keep flipping. You can just kind of keep flipping that 50 up. And I found that to be true. 50,000 for a profit target on a buy and hold deal is pretty reasonable. It's not that there are a million of those deals out there, but you can find them. You can negotiate your way into that type of a deal and you can get it going. You can absolutely get it going. So that's what I would say there is you want to get about 50,000. Let's get into some of these questions you guys have coming. Can you purchase a single family home for 10K or less down in Philly and still cash flow over 5,000 a month? Let me think about that again. Can you purchase a home for $10,000 or less and then still cash flow it over 500 a month? I believe so. I would say yes, you absolutely can, but you have to be sophisticated. Like you're not gonna do that as a complete newbie with no experience with no mentorship, you're just not going to be able to do that, in my opinion. One second, guys. I'm just going live again on the IG. You're not going to do that, in my opinion. You're not just going to take 10K and run into Philly with no experience, no knowledge, no relationships, no resources, and start cash flowing, 500, 600, 700 a month. Doesn't mean you can't do it. You can do it if you know where to find the best, most profitable deals, and you know how to structure them. So how to get your seller's assists, how to get different types of seller's credits, how to get down payment assistance. Are you going to occupy it? Are you going to house hack? So there are strategies where you can house hack. You can take $7,000 like I did. I think I only came out of pocket on my first deal, and I'll pull up the paperwork to show you guys. I came out of pocket maybe $5,500 on my first deal, and that cash flowed about $1,000 a month. Now that was a decade ago, but still the market is kind of getting back there with where prices are going and where interest rates are going. The real estate market is all about spreads, profit spreads. It's not about, and this is a very intricate point, so definitely stick with this. It's not about where prices or interest rates are or construction costs are or anything is at any point in time individually. So it's not like, oh, back in 2010, you could get away with murder, you could do this, but now you could never do that again. It's like, because prices are higher. That's not true. Are the spreads the same? If the spreads are reasonably the same, then you could see similar, if not greater profits today than even you saw 10 years ago. Because it's all about, well, how much have the rents gone up? Well, rates went up and prices went up. Yeah, but did rents inflate more than rates and prices? Especially when rates start coming back down. Prices go up. There's a nice profit spread. How much did rents inflate? Because rents could inflate to the point where they offset higher interest rates and higher prices as a cash flow investor, or they unlock value. That was a concept I talked to a lot of our ride along people about over this weekend, was unlocking value. Like, I want you guys to understand that this is happening in all markets at all times. So this is why I want you all to be free thinking investors. There are going to be sections of cities where there's no profit spread. What do I mean by that? I mean, sellers are stubborn and these houses are big. You'll usually see this where the footprint of the house is big. You'll have big brownstones. You'll have all these big properties, right? And big properties, higher square footage, cost more to build, price per square foot. So the sellers don't want to sell for less than 100K. They've been sitting on these properties for 30 years. They have no idea what the cost of construction is. And you're looking at it and saying, geez, that thing's 2,000 square feet. It's going to cost me $80 a square foot to rehab it because you let it go for so long. And the ARV, the after repair value, is 200K. So no reasonable person could buy this property for what the sellers want, 100K. Put in the rehab that is necessary to at least get it up to par, in a reasonable par, where you can rent it well and kind of have a comfortable product. All new wiring, all new plumbing, new HVAC or heating system, new drywall, new roofing, new windows, new doors, new trim, new bathroom, new kitchen. That's refreshing that property. There's no spread. So then that area stays depressed because the developers look at it and say, can't make any money, can't even execute on a deal. Forget about it. But at some point in time, somebody comes in all cash, or they get a property for so cheap, they just deck out one of those properties. They pop it, they flip it for 300K. Now there's a 200K spread. The market gets unlocked. Value was unlocked. So you have to keep looking at markets to make sure value isn't being unlocked in them. Or you can predict, if you get into certain markets and you see, hey, everybody's buying up everything south of here, they're building north. You literally will see the comps coming up north. Then they're buying east of here, they're building west. So if I buy right here, they're going to build up through me and through me to the west. I have a double shot, a 2x chance of the market and the developers building into the value and crossing my path and doubling the value of my property. So now you can buy in certain areas ahead of time if you can get those properties that are in reasonable shape and only need a light cosmetic spit shine, and you can wait for value to get unlocked even in your market and to boost your ARVs. If you did 10 deals like that, you could appreciate $1 million across a portfolio of 8 to 10 properties in 3 years. 3 years in the right market if you're playing the game the right way. And I've seen it happen. I've seen more than that happen. So no, you can do a deal, a single family especially, for 10K or less down in Philly today and still cash flow over 500 a month. You just have to have patience. You have to have the mindset we talked about, patience. And guess what nobody has? Patience. Nobody has it. Even I may lack patience to a degree. I've just done so many deals that it's speed is less important to me. Speed is less important to me now because I've been doing this for over a decade. And I'm just like, if somebody asks me, Brian, the famous, like, where do you see yourself 5-10 years from now? Same thing. I'm just going to keep cranking. I'm going to keep cranking until North Philly looks like Center City. I'm just going to try to build the whole damn hood, the whole thing. And if I pull it off, everybody eats, everybody wins. The whole city wins. Many investors win. Back to the ride-along tour, no better feeling than, and some of us saw it, you're standing in your house or the house you're working on, somebody just poured in a $250,000 rehab 2 doors down. That's a great feeling when you already own a property on the block. Somebody next to you, you don't even know them. They poured in $250,000 right next to you, increasing your value. So it helps all investors. But yes, you can get started with 10K or less, but you have to have knowledge. That's what I need everyone to understand. This is not, come get in my course. You got to have knowledge. This is real MF and talk. You got to have knowledge. The first thing to invest in is you, not a house. Unless you have the knowledge already. The first thing to invest in is you, not a house. Invest in you. And believe me that by investing in you, the houses will appear. Everything will appear. When it appears here, it will appear out here. So as you get more educated, you start to dial in. Oh no, I really want to do this. I really want to buy here. I really want to execute on that strategy. Then you can, now that you narrowed it down a bit, you can start to really directly research that specific strategy. You can go a mile deep in it. Now you can box out some of the competition. So you can do it, but you got to get educated. How do we get funding for buying houses with no portfolio? It seems as if it doesn't matter whether your personal credit is good. If they don't see any properties under your belt, you get denied. No, it depends on the lender you're talking to. So we work in the boots on the ground program. I would say 50, it's kind of like a 50-50. 50-50 will come to me. People will come to me for boots on the ground and they'll be like, Brian, I've done 20 deals, but I'm looking to diversify. I'll need a different market. I want to add to the pot. I want to do about 10 to 20. They'll come into the boots on the ground and they'll start getting after it. Jump in and in 6 months grab 6 properties. The other 50% doing their first deal. But they all get approved. So, and there's nothing different between them and you. There's nothing different between any of us. There's nothing different between me and you at the end of the day, other than I have lived experiences of the real estate and knowledge of the real estate. But I'm willing to share it. It's all in my course content. It's all, if somebody dared to watch every live I've done, you would get educated. Because that's all we're doing here. It's just educating you. So you'll get smarter. And then you'll learn what lenders to go to, how to present yourself, how to pitch yourself. You'll learn all these things. If you want to accelerate, that's where mentorship is. Mentorship accelerates you. So for those of you who lack patience like me and want to accelerate, mentorship helps you to accelerate much faster. Even my mentors, and I've done paid mentorship. I've done more paid mentorship than anybody watching this right now. So anybody who's like, I paid for a course, I pay for 4 or 5 courses a year minimum. And I've been doing that for a long time. That will get you kind of, faster. It will accelerate you. But even free mentorship, will accelerate you. Things my mentors told me has helped me a bit. But we can, I mean, I think you should reach out. If you're getting denied, I mean, we have a lot of lenders that, you know, I've crossed paths with, that I've researched. There are new lenders popping up. We can get you situated. So reach out. Guys, this is the live Q&A day. There's no topic today if you just tapped in. It's just about live Q&A. If you have any questions, ask them. If you're getting value, like, comment, subscribe, share the content with somebody who you want to get value, who you want to not be broke. Share it with a friend. Damn. If you got a friend that's always asking you for money, share this with them. Teach them. Teach them how to get money. Make your circle stronger. Make your team stronger. What if you go broke? What if you run into some hardship? You wish you made the people around you stronger. You wish you made the people around you stronger. That's why when you get a good team, good contractors, good lending partners, good, everybody's making money. Everybody's stronger. Everybody's stronger. The contractor can never go broke. You could never go broke because there's more food to eat. Another topic, and then we'll get to the next question. On a real estate ride-along tour, talking to one of the members, the 24/7 cash flow family, one of the family members. And he's like, there's so much that you can eat off in a real estate game. It's crazy. There's the appraiser, there's the lender. All these people are eating fees off of a deal. Appraiser, lender, title company, realtor, wholesaler, there's the insurance man. There's like all of these people. And you can keep going down the line. A property inspector, you know, you could just keep going down. There's all this stuff. And you're like, damn, all these people are eating off these deals. There's actually so much money circulating within the industry, which just tells you like it's a $1 trillion industry. It's a feeding frenzy. If you just get in and learn how to get one thing done or master one aspect of this game, you can make a lot of money. I know appraisers making over $150,000 a year. It's just an appraiser. They just get phone calls from lenders. Hey, we need you to get out there on Tuesday. And they're like, all right, that's another $500, $500. I'll do 3 appraisals a day, $1,500 a day. Like guys are getting it in this game. So you got to get your tuchus off the sidelines. But definitely we can get you a lender. Just reach out. Trust me, I've been in this game too long to be like, oh, you're new, you can't get a loan. That's like, we can get you approved in a week. Don't worry about that. All types of lenders out here. Next question. Do lenders work with co-signers on boots on the ground? For example, if a lender builds a relationship with a family member, can they be a co-signer to do deals? Yeah, if you're doing deals and you need a co-signer or you want a co-signer or you have to have a co-signer, they have better credit score or something like that, you could always just add them to the LLC, have them co-sign. So you can definitely use co-signers for sure to improve your financial outlook. These lenders, these hard money construction lenders, they're not Bank of America, man. Like they are independent people who make decisions. They underwrite deals with their own internal process. They all kind of have a similar yet different process. So they have their own process. They have the ability to customize their documents and lending agreements, and they do their own thing. So even if one lender says, no, we're not going to do it, there's always another one who is likely to say yes, because it's kind of like if you talk to lenders about deals and you say, hey, would you fund this? Or can you fund this? But you don't have the deal in front of them. They're like, I don't think so. They start talking about their underwriting guidelines and all this stuff. If you show up to the table with a deal under contract and you're like, will you fund this? And they're going to look at it. If the numbers look good and they're like, this is reasonable to conservatives, the comps are conservative, I kind of like this thing. And they start pulling out their calculator and calculating how much profit they're going to make. They're going to be like, I mean, we can make 20 grand off this thing or 15 grand off this thing, whatever the origination fees and mortgage interest are. If your financials are reasonable, you have enough, meaning you have enough liquidity, not even credit really, but just liquidity to make 10 to 12 interest payments. And if you have a legitimate construction crew and rehab crew that's licensed and insured, they'll still fund you. It does help, ain't gonna lie, to be in something like a boots on the ground program where you can just say like, oh, well, these contractors have built hundreds of houses here, literally, and it's verifiable. Oh, I want to see the proof. Here's the permit history. And they get a stat, and they're like, oh, all right, okay. They'll do the deal. But having mentorship, having, relationships, that helps. And then once you do your first deal, now you're proven, now that goes away. So even if it takes you longer to get your first deal done, once you get it done, that new investor thing goes away. That new thing goes away. Tina, how do I know if a deal is profitable? How do you know if a deal is profitable? That's what the whole 100 Keys Masterclass, like that's really what our whole process is like. Like I could send you, you know what you should do? DM me, find me on Instagram, DM me stress test. DM me stress test. If you're on IG, DM me stress test. Get access to my stress test toolkit. You could probably drop a comment on a YouTube as well. Drop a comment that says stress test on a YouTube video. And we'll send you our stress test toolkit, which is what we use. That's a tool we built to analyze deals. Are they profitable? Will they cash flow? Can you flip them? What's the average rehab budget? So DM me stress test, and we'll get that sent over to you. But really, you're just looking for a profit spread. How do you know if a deal is profitable? Is there a spread? Is there a spread? Can I buy it for 100K, put in 80, it's worth 300? Or it's worth 275. There's a nice spread there. Where there's a spread, there's some profit. Can I, if I buy it for 100K and put in 80, my mortgage all in is 180. So let's say I'm paying like $1,500 a month all in on my mortgage. Can I rent it for 22? There's some profit there, even after property maintenance and different things, miscellaneous. There's some profits there. There's some profits there. So, that's another thing is profit is just a math equation. The problem is when you're new to the game, you don't know how to solve some of the variables. So it's more like algebra. It's like 2 times X plus Y equals Z. You need to start, like Z is the ARV. So you need to be able to pull comps and understand how to come up with after repair values. That's a skill set that anyone can learn. So if you learn that skill set, then you solved variable Z. Now it's 2X plus Y equals 250K. Y might be the rehab budget. So you're like, okay, cool. Now you solve the rehab budget. That's another discipline. I know how to generally get to rehab budgets or numbers. My boots on the ground people know who are dialed in. When I say what 80K can do on a, 2-story, 1,200 square foot, 3-bed, 1-bath. If you came on a ride along, you would see what 80K could do, what 75K could do, what 110K could do, or 105K could do, what 150K could do to a specific property in terms of a rehab budget. That's a skill set you can pick up. You can pick it up in a classroom, or you can come out to a real estate ride-along tour and get it hands-on. But getting that knowledge gives you the profitability of a deal. So the profitability of a deal is what's left over after you solve these variables. But you have to build up the skill sets and the discipline to be able to solve those variables. The tools, the stress test spreadsheet that will give you access to will project, and it will solve some of this. But you never want to rely on the spreadsheet or the tech. You have to rely on a system that you can control. Even if you have technology, there are websites that say, we'll give you the ARV, we'll pull the comps for you. You just push this comps button and boom, you get comps. Still doesn't work like that, because that system is still going to feed you nonsense. You still have to have a brain that can analyze and assess and look at pictures and condition and relate that to costs, on average costs for similar properties in that condition and at that square footage. and then come up with after repair values. But it's not that difficult. You just need exposure. 99% of success is exposure. It's exposure. That's why you want to go to a good college. You don't want to go to college for the education. You want to go for the exposure. Is there a strong alumni network? What are the alums who go there doing? Are they running the world? Are they running the tech industry? There's a level of exposure you can get by being in that environment and being able to network. So you would need exposure to hands-on experience or to really seeing deals. That's why I think the most boneheaded thing anyone could do, if they're serious about investing in real estate, serious about learning construction, the construction process, and how to find good deals and profitable deals, what they look like, is know about something like my ride along tour and not book it and go. It's like the dumbest thing, because I built the ride along tour. I set it up this way because it's what I would have needed to accelerate faster. So I already know it works because I built it for me. Everything I was missing, the knowledge I was missing, the exposure I was missing. Most investors attempt their first gut rehab having never stepped in a gut rehab before. That's most people. That's the competition. You want to get better than the competition? Go to a tour. Learn. It's right there for you. And the return on investment in $1 trillion industry is laughable. It's laughable in $1 trillion industry, because you learn this stuff, you can't unlearn it. This ain't like school, like the stuff you want to forget. You can't unlearn this stuff when you learn it. You're like, damn, I can see the cost. No, that kitchen should only be like $5K. Like, you start learning this shit and you can't undo it. Especially not when you start getting them rent checks. How can you start making connections with people in the industry as a newbie? Just go to networking events, but go with a purpose. A mentee asked me this question earlier today. He just tapped in recently. And this guy is going to be a rock star. He's 24 years old, entrepreneur already, just like locked in. And he literally asked me this question maybe 3-4 hours ago. But we had a one-on-one today, which I do for my people. When you tap into the Inner Circle program, we start off with a one-on-one. I got to get to know you at a one-to-one level, what your goals are and how we can direct you so that you can start taking enough action to get results within the next 90 days. That's the goal of the Inner Circle. So if you're a tire kicker and you're just dipping your toe in, don't even come to the Inner Circle. But if you're ready to try to start really getting results in the next 90 days, tap in, because that's what we're going to do. But he asked that question. He said, I'm going to go to some networking events. I said, well, go with a purpose. Well, what do you mean? Well, if your goal is to do creative financing and wholesaling, you want to go in with that in mind. You don't need to be talking to people who can't help you. Like an architect could help you. But let's say you're talking to like, maybe just like a realtor who does high-end homes. So you meet this guy, he's doing 6-figure homes or whatever, 7-figure homes. You're trying to wholesale and mark up some deals. You might talk to him to see if, in case you get like a big deal, but realistically, it's like you want to talk to people who are moving and shaking. You want to talk to other wholesalers. Hey, you have any deals you're having trouble moving? You want to talk to lenders if they're there, brokers. Hey, you know any lenders had any deals go bad? If they have any deals go bad, I'm always buying. I can come in and buy 10 at once. You can start to network and worm your way into certain relationships that can yield value. If you were trying to be a builder, hey, I want to go out and learn how to build houses for a living. I want to learn how to be a birth strategist. I want to build rental properties and refinance out of them, keep my money, go do more. You might want to talk to architects. Guess who architects know? Contractors. Licensed contractors. Who do you think they're making their plans for? They're interfacing with contractors and builders. So that's a great relationship because they can feed you builders. They can feed you different relationships. Doesn't mean they're going to be fantastic or reasonably priced, but you can get relationships in markets that you're not in. Property management companies, same thing. They're going to know a lot of contractors and they may refer them out. So go to these events, but decide who you are. Spend some time with who you are and what your goal is. Are you a wholesaler? Are you a creative financing person? And then network with that in mind. You have to have your game together. You have to approach somebody like, hey, you know, I help people to move really tough deals. Deals where the seller's underwater on their mortgage, they can't sell it, they can't move it, they're having trouble, maybe they're in pre-foreclosure, maybe they got a property they just inherited they don't want. I'll help them to move it fast. I'll get them top dollar. That's what I do. You start introducing yourself to people like that. Most newbies go to a networking event to kind of get educated. Hey, so what do you do? Tell me about what you do. Oh, that's cool. And how does that work? And that's cool, but not really the use of what you want to be doing. If you do it the way I'm talking about, you'll get massive results. How can going back to the gold standard affect real estate? I don't think we're going to the gold standard. We're going to the Bitcoin standard. And I don't know that it will affect real estate realistically. Real estate is an asset and inflates with all other assets. I don't think it'll have an impact. I'll do some more research on it to see, but I don't even think we're going to the gold standard. I think we're going to the Bitcoin standard. I really do. Which one is better, to get equity from refinancing or get a line of credit from the home equity with the current interest rate? Which one is better, to get equity from refinancing or to get a line of credit from the home equity with the current interest rate in order to get liquidity? I will always go for the home equity line of credit. The refinance, and here's why. The refinance, once you execute on it, there's going to be closing costs. There's closing costs with everything. But there's going to be larger closing costs usually than an equity line. Larger closing costs, larger time frame. And then you have to start paying on that. Once you pull the money out of the house, you start paying. So if you get this mortgage, this refinance at a potentially higher rate, you're just paying on that now. So there's a little bit of pressure there. I mean, it could work. It doesn't mean cash out refinances don't work, but there can be pressure there to deliver. Now, if you were to go with a home equity line, just having the line of credit, it doesn't cost you. It does cost you in terms of like the closing costs and that stuff. But if the money is just sitting in the equity line, you haven't taken it out, you're not paying on it. So that gives you an advantage over the refinance. The refinance, you start paying from day one. The equity line, if the money's there, you're not paying. If the money's out, you're paying. So you can do that type of game. And you can control your cash flows a lot better. So I would recommend the HELOC. I've seen more people have success with the HELOC. I need a mentor, but everybody's program is so damn expensive. I already have the LLC, Dun and Bradstreet number, website, and everything. Yeah, I mean, I think the problem is a lot of people need help in this game, and there's only in order to put together a good mentorship program, at least, there's only so much time that could be allocated. So there's always some limitation. And when there's a limitation, some of the better people at this are going to have higher pricing. That being said, there's always tiers of options. Like for us, the ride along, there are people that charge 10 times what I charge for a real estate ride along tour. I made that our cheapest option for a reason, because I think it provides a very, very, very high level of value. You also get course content, lifetime access. You get your 24/7 cash flow gear. Some people were surprised by the quality of the hoodies. They were like, damn, I knew you were going to give me the hoodie, but we thought you were going to get us the cheap stuff. But that's not my style. If we're going to get hoodies, they're going to be quality. But, you know, that is part of it. It's part of it. I think what's part of it is, and I know the prices of most of these mentorship programs. There are some cheap ones out there, though. There are some more expensive ones. It's also a protectionary mechanism because you need, I would say, outside of just going purely for like creative financing, you need some money to get into this game. This game is really weird when you're new, because when you're new, you're not used to writing uncomfortable checks. Yeah. So like, I mean, it's let's figure, if I'm talking to you, you're listening and you're like in your early 20s and you're maybe one of the first people in your family to kind of go to college or get certain types of jobs to make money to even be able to be comfortable investing in real estate. You're going to write your first $5,000, your first $10,000, your first $20,000 check. You haven't done it yet. You don't know what it feels like. And there's a feeling to it. There's a comfort, there's an expansion of comfort zone to that. To all of it, to all of the real estate investing. So being in a position and having the comfort of making an investment, like a reasonable investment in mentorship, also, it kind of is a precursor. It's like a precursor of the next level. Like you should be at that level where that investment is relatively reasonable if you want to play at a certain game, at a certain like level of the game. But there's a lot of knowledge out there. I mean, and there are different levels of programs. So even getting in at a lower level and then working your way up makes sense to me. Not getting in at all doesn't make sense. And trust me, like I told you guys, I invest in mentorship programs for different things. If I want to learn something that I'm not proficient in, I'd rather accelerate faster than the guy who's going to watch YouTube for 10 years and halfway get it. Let him do that. I don't have time for all that. I'd rather just accelerate. So I invest in these programs, and some of them are put my cost to shame. You know, some of the astronomical prices on some of these things. But they tend to offer lower level programs. If it's something like that, you might get into a lower level. But I usually will still get in if I think the person is quality. If I think the person can get me there. And I'll sit back, like many of you, I'll watch people for 2-3 months. Sometimes it could be a year. Not that I would research for somebody for a year, but they might just be in my feed and I'm just seeing them. And then I'll test some stuff they're talking about. I'm a high level tester. So I will test it. And if I start liking the results or I see any results, I'm like, man, I got to get in this thing. I've gotten those phone calls too from people who are like, hey, I was just watching your stuff and I got my first deal. And I'm like, damn. So just got a text from one of our mentees who, it's funny, everything today has been like really fast. If I say something happens, guy just texted me, he watched for a year. I talked to him. He tapped into Boots on the Ground over the summer, like late summer. And he had watched me a year before then. We actually had done a phone call to prior like June. And he had stuck around in it and tapped in. And he just reached out saying he got his sample hub one. He's about to wire his money into close. For those on a ride along who like that co-living property, that's his deal. That single family co-living. He stole that one from the bank. One of the craziest deals I've ever seen. Happy for him to have it. Where he just texted me. Mike Morgan, the cameraman, said the images are sent. For those who came on the ride along, if you want access to the photos, I think I'm going to start doing this as part of the ride along. I get these photos of the ride along and I don't post them all, but you guys are a part of it. So I'm gonna just let me know if you want access, and I'll share access with you guys. You're part of the 24/7 cash flow family. We got some family photos out of that day. You might have some photos that are part of your journey. I tell you guys always, I'm not your limit. I'm just a facilitator. I am not the limit. So I'm a part of your journey. Your journey could go to thousands of properties. We really don't know. None of us has that crystal ball. But sometimes we all don't stop to document our success or our growth, our journey. And it becomes very important later in life. So having those photos can be important. So I'll share that with you guys. Dr. Grimes, hope the ride along went well. I want to refocus my energy on flips. Any top of my insights to find the 40K profit deals? I think we just been pulling them from off market. I would recommend linking up with Jose. Link up with Jose. Let him grab something for you off market. I think I'm really liking what I'm seeing in the market. I've been looking at comps lately. I've been getting more conservative with the comps because the lenders are just freaking annoying. That's why we're getting people with appraisals coming back 50K over on the refinance at times. Not that doesn't always happen, but at times because we're being conservative. But there are some really good flips out there. Like the comps are really good. Even as I'm being more conservative on comps, I'm surprised by what I'm seeing. I'm like, damn, these things are really selling at sizable prices right now. So I think as rates go down a little further in 2025, some of these deals that online right now, they're going to really sell. I'm also very pleased with the product for flips, like the product that we're putting out for flips. Having seen what it's done in the past in certain markets, it's a good product. It's like a nice in between flip product where it's not the super top of the market, because I'm a little bit more conservative than to play that game, but gives you a nice finish. We just have one flip that we're wrapping up now. It was I want to say it was a 4-bed. It was a 4-bed 1-bath, turned it into a 5-bed 2-bath. And it's just a monster, just an absolute monster. We were only planning on having it as a 4-bed 1.5-bath. Thing turned into a 5-bed 2-bath out of nowhere. Just having too much fun. Just added that value in for the client. So hopefully they make 60K off the thing. God bless them. But we'll help you to get a deal. Just link up with Jose, book a call with Jose. The deal specialist. My woman and I are in the mentorship building our knowledge. We have to move out in 2 months. We don't want to rent and we want to invest, but we aren't confident. Do you have any advice for our situation? You want to invest. Well, I would say, how much capital do you have? How much capital do you have? You have enough time, hypothetically, to house hack something. You don't need to be confident. You just need to be correct. You don't need to be confident. So you can just lean on the resources. I mean, we have resources here. If I would say the most conservative thing you could do is go out and find a duplex, FHA house hack it, put down very little, live in one unit, rent the other, try to live for free. That would be the most conservative play. You don't need a lot of confidence to do that. It's probably a good move if you both want to do it and you want to make a move. You ain't going to lose long term or short term doing something like that. You'll at least be paying less than the rent. That's what I would do. I would get over it. I would view this as part of the learning curve. You guys think I was confident when I did my first deal? I always tell people, however horrified you are, you got to imagine me times 10. At least you guys can freaking tap into somebody like me. If you're doing it, you can reach out, you can try to tap in somehow. I didn't have anybody really. It was just like the market gods, me and the real estate gods. Hope this thing don't burn down. And didn't really have, like that much experience. My mentors were way too busy for me. It wasn't like, there's a difference, I'll tell you guys, between paid mentorship and free mentorship. Free mentorship, you can get they call it the Heisman. where it's like they're too busy. You meet with them once or twice a year. They're half busy. You might go to lunch or do things, but you're trying to pick somebody's brain and get decades of experience over a dinner. It doesn't work that way. Paid mentorship, you can get a course, guidance, support systems, teams, coaching calls. Like, you can get different things where even if you're navigating and you're not confident, you can reach out and you can get assurances or get information that can allow you to accelerate. So I wouldn't worry about confidence at all. You'll be confident after you do it. Right now, you just need to take action. You have a time frame. If you want to do this shit, start taking action. Like tomorrow. There's a checklist. What are we going to buy? If we're going to buy, where are we going to buy? Start narrowing this thing down. When you narrow it down, it becomes a target you can hit. So that would be my advice, is to take action. Usually when I'm not feeling great about things, because I'm not taking any actions, which means the fear is up here. When it comes out here, you can take action against it. It's manifested in the physical. In the physical world, you can take actions. In the mental, there's no real action you can take. You're like having an argument with your mind, and you will not win. You will not win. How do I reach out for a consult? I'm not sure if you're already tapped in or not, but yeah, if you're not tapped in, you can DM me. You can find us on, actually the links are in the description. If you're on YouTube, just click the links in the description. You can book a call. You can tap into our free training where I take you on a tour of Philly and teach you this game and how to overcome some of your fears and accelerate. So there's a free training. Just click the links in the description. If you're on IG, they said it's men hopping on tonight. No, men is hopping on. We do the Wednesday lives. Men won't be on tonight. But just reach out. Click the link, book a call, me and my team. Drop a comment that says I subscribe. We'll reach out as well. And guys, share the content with somebody who you want to get value. Mark Wright, my man. Saturday's ride along was time well spent, from seeing houses that were dilapidated to seeing homes that are showroom ready. Was amazing. Yeah, we're showing you the full spectrum. There's nothing. I tell you guys, I have nothing to hide with this boots on the ground program. It's like, yo, here are the cribs. Here are the houses we're buying. Here are the houses. These are where we're buying the houses. You're standing in them. You're seeing the neighborhoods. You're seeing the rehab process. We went in one property. They were zipping it up. They were drywalling it. And the guy who owned it was there. He was on the ride along. So we're walking through his house, watching it be zipped up. And you can see all new plumbing, all new electric, all, like it's going down. It's going down. That's what it's about. But you guys got to get out in that thing. That is the learning. When you're really standing in the house and you're looking at the numbers and you're seeing the numbers on the walls, like, damn, that 10,000 drywall, that 12,000 drywall budget, I'm looking at it. It's getting zipped up right now. That's a game changer. But I'm glad you tapped in with us. That was a lot of fun. I want to learn, but every person is not a good teacher. They know the skill, but can't teach the it. Yeah, well, that's why you have to find the people who can actually teach. The people who really teach. The thing is not that they're bad teachers, it's that they don't care. There's a lot of people out here, they don't care. They're just doing it. They want to make money. They just don't care that much. Then there are the people who really love it. The people who really love it will teach it to you in multiple ways. They'll teach you one concept 8 ways because they know one of those ways will connect with you. And then you'll have the overall concept and be able to accelerate. But only somebody who loves it is going to go that far in an explanation. It becomes very apparent who loves it and who doesn't if you sit back and watch people, especially over the course of time. So you have to find someone who resonates with you. If you find a teacher that resonates with you and you're learning, then you need to continue. People have different teaching styles. People have different learning styles as well. So you have to, some people aren't bad teachers. They might just not teach in a way that is compatible with your learning style. It's part of the reason why Even in my program, I have multiple learning styles. We have done for you, done with you, and hands-on. Ride along is hands-on. Inner circle is done with you, building you up with the knowledge, giving you the resources, the family, the connections. Boots on the ground is done for you. And you can learn from all styles. Done for you means you can just take a look at what's going on right in front of you as you're getting results and then replicate the system. You're looking under the hood. Done with you, you're building the car together. Hands-on, you're standing in the shop. Some people just learn from what they can touch and feel. So you have to find your style, and then you have to seek out that style of mentorship. You got to seek out that style. However you learn. Go learn that way first, then learn another way after you start to develop a love for it. Because as you fall in love with real estate, you will accelerate as well. So that goes both ways. The teacher must love real estate. If the teacher doesn't love real estate, they can't teach it to you. They don't even love the shit. They don't even barely, meaning they don't really know anything because they're not constantly researching. If you're not constantly researching and staying tapped into the market, you're like kind of too arrogant to a degree. But they gotta love it. If they love it, they can teach it. But on the flip side, you have to love it to fully accelerate into it. It's not something you want to get in only for the money. It is a good diversification tool. You will make money, but you want to get into it because you like the concept of how money is made in real estate and the security of it and the cash flow and the tax losses and the control and the physical aspect of it. You have to really get into the real estate to do better. So I agree. But also we'll go both ways. Daryl said the ride along was epic. Thanks, brother. Thanks, Daryl. Appreciate you tapping out. Glad you got your hoodie too. They put a little extra flash on these 24/7 cash flow hoodies. I'm glad I got to keep one as well. Is West Philly becoming more viable? West Philly's like a gold mine. For those who are on the ride along, I mean, you guys know. You guys can answer the question as well as I can. West Philly's a gold mine. So many pockets, so many properties, so much cash flow circulating. Tenants love it. Houses are big. It's a great market. There's flips, there's holds, there's multis. It just has everything. It's a good question. Okay, we have a second part of this question. I am said woman. Question. Millie said she's gonna wear her hoodie to work. I wear that hoodie out all the time. People love that hoodie. If you wear the 24/7 cash flow hoodie out, people will like stop and look, like they will look at you and stuff. They like it. Seeing a 9 to 5 crossed out, it's definitely a showstopper. And the black and white with the red, it pops out at people. So definitely wear your hoodie out. Wear it to the grocery store. Just wear it out and about. You'll see people kind of looking at you. Creates a bit of a spectacle. I am said woman and Kay's question. We've been super interested in the duplex investment. I'm wondering what you think about the possibility of not being able to rent out the due to our plex, which is a funny way. That's kind of funny to me as a real estate nerd. The due to our plex. That's really funny. Here's something new every day in real estate. You'll be able to rent it out, is what I would say. I wouldn't worry about that. I don't think there's a scenario. There's really not a property alive that I've seen that just won't rent. There are properties that take longer to rent than others. And that's just kind of like the game. Sometimes it makes sense. Sometimes it doesn't make sense. You can offer incentives. So incentives would be things like, hey, when you move in, it's the holidays, right? So, hey, when you move in, we're giving you a $250 Visa gift card when you move in, Section 8 tenant. just for the holidays. So that incentive will speed people up. It's not going to catch everybody, but it's going to raise some eyebrows when Christmas is around the corner and somebody wants an Xbox, whatever version they have out now. And they're like, damn, they got that 250. This thing looks solid. I'll take it. You know, so your property starts moving a little faster. Your property starts moving a little faster. So offering incentives can speed you up. Like there are ways to control. So this is where I say the fear is, what if it doesn't rent? So then that fear creates an argument. Well, if it doesn't rent, it's going to do this. But no, we can overcome it. No, you can't. You're not ready. And you're having this internal battle of this imagined fear that you're however many months out and the property just won't tenant. It'll never tenant. And you know, there's all these voices. It'll never happen. It'll never tenant. Oh, this was a bad decision. Like all these things. But then there's actual action you can take. Incentives, like moving incentives, price changes, taking a 2-bed instead of a 3-bed voucher, but knowing you're going to get maxed out. So taking maybe a couple hundred less and then coming back a couple years from now and readjusting or increasing 2% annually. There's all this stuff you can do. Rent to owning the property and taking different actions. So as it becomes a physical problem, you can now take action against it. It's a lot weaker in the physical world than mental. So you have the imagined fear of what if it doesn't rent out. I have ways to increase the likelihood of it renting out and incentive strategies and different things that can speed something up. And that's the difference. So therefore, I don't worry about that. We'll see if it rents out the natural way, without incentives, without different things. If it doesn't, I'll accelerate it here. And if that doesn't work, I'll accelerate it here. And I'm going to keep pushing and prodding, you know, however much I have to. So those are different strategies that you can work with. And I don't know if anybody's going to complain about a Section 8 tenant getting an extra $250 or $500 on the holidays. But back to the hoodie, definitely wear your hoodie everywhere. I wear my hoodie to school, to pick up my kids. I wear it to sometimes. I don't wear it all the time. But sometimes I just have it there. I grab it. It's a solid hoodie, man. It's a really solid hoodie. And I got a bunch of colors. I think we're going to do white on the next tour. We've done black, navy blue, gray. I think we're going to do white. On average, how long will it take from closing on a house to reno to getting tenants in for full gut renovation houses? I would say on average, you will see like a 5 to 6 month turn all in. Because your rehab's going to be 3 months. So that's 10 to 12 weeks. Then you have licensing. So when your rehab is done, you're going to have to get inspections and different things so you can get your rental license. That's going to run you 10 to 20 days. So that's pushing you like in the middle of the third to fourth month. There's a question of, do you start marketing for tenanting before you get your rental license? That can be bad for Section 8 because if you're doing that, and you get a tenant fast, which happens all the time. Like you've been marketing a property in 3 days, you have a voucher. That happens all the time. Now you don't have your rental license. So you can't submit and process the voucher, then you lose the person. That happens. So sometimes you don't want to jump the gun. You can miss some people. So you push back 20 days. Then you start marketing. It takes about 30 days on average to find somebody. It can take longer. I mean, it's the real estate game. It's the beast. Like it can take longer. It could take less. It could take, like I said, a day or two. I've seen them go really fast. So you just see how long it takes, and you try to accelerate where you can. And then to process the voucher, pass the inspection, it could be like another 20 to 30 days. So I say you're looking at like a 5 to 6 month turn. Now, you could be in a deal and the rehab goes in 8 weeks. and the rental license went really fast, and now you're just 4 months in and the tenant's got a move-in date for 14 days from now because everything just flew through. Some properties are going to pass inspection the first time, some the second time. And you're dealing with government agencies as well. So you're trying to get your rental license, they're backed up. It takes 5-6 days for them to approve it instead of 2. Or you're getting your lead inspection done. The lead results took 3 weeks to come in when it should have taken 5 days, 7 days because the lab was backed up. All types of shit is happening. So this is a projection and a reasonable projection, but all types of shit can happen. Like, I'm not the market gods. There are real estate gods and real market gods out there. I ain't them. I'm still under their law and order as well. So there are some things that can be controlled and many things that can't be. They can be navigated, but not controlled. It's like an ocean. You can navigate the ocean. You can't fucking control the current. But you can navigate with the current and not go against the current in certain scenarios. That's really what what it's like. So you have these projections, and in a normal current, that's what it's going to be. It could be a stormy current. It could be different. But that's what you'll see on average. That's what you'll see over the course of doing 10 to 15 deals a year. So on average, it goes pretty fast. Some will linger, and some will go faster than the others. On any individual deal you do, you could get any one of those deals, right? You could get one that lingers, one that's normal, one that's faster than average. You could get either or. But that's why it's called an investment, because there's always going to be some uncertainty. There's always going to be a risk-reward profile and portfolio to any deal. There's a risk-reward profile and portfolio to any deal. But that's what I would say a good average is. But it could go faster, and it depends on the rehab. But to me, Section 8 is worth the wait. From what I've seen, the best portfolios long-term have been this type of product. This type of product is rare because a lot of people don't really want to invest in their portfolio the right way. But if you take a property and you really put in a strong rehab, like right now, today, and you go out and get 30 or 40 properties, and you Section 8 all of them, you're going to have a strong damn portfolio. Because you could come back to that portfolio in 15 years and it'll still be strong as shit. The property will be structurally sound. All the wiring and everything and the plumbing, everything is still new. This stuff has like a 30-year lifespan, 40-year span. So this stuff's going to be pretty solid. You come in and do a light cosmetic refresh, put another tenant in there. Average tenant stays 5 to 8 years. So your average vacancy rate on a Section 8 portfolio is like maybe 2%. Most of these portfolios I've seen fully occupied. I'm talking 100-unit plus portfolios, full occupancy, or like 97% occupancy, where you're like, damn. And that was even the slumlords. So if you do this at a professional level, you're talking like, very high occupancy, good cash flow, and not having to come back out constantly to the property. Not having to worry about the old knob and tube wiring. And those portfolios that are in that size, 20, 30 properties, you're cash flowing 20 G's or so, 15 to 20 G's a month, easy. And that's going to inflate 15 to 20 bands a month. Cash flow. You go out and get 40 cribs. Yeah, 15 to 20 grand a month in cash flow. You can just live off of that. You just kind of keep flowing. Section 8 renters are known for destroying rental homes. They're not really, though. That's the crazy part. I would say, like, the demographic of it has changed a lot. They actually don't trash homes that much. Not from what I've seen. That's like a stigma of the past. You can also inspect for that. You can just inspect where they're living currently. And if they're taking care of that house, they'll take care of yours. That's really the way to just check for that. But from what I've seen, actually, Section 8 tenants don't really tear up houses. Not any more than regular tenants, from what I've seen. It's not it's kind of like how you were raised, not necessarily socioeconomic. So it's interesting. But you can screen for it, and it's not like the norm. It was when I was growing up. You know, I haven't lived Section 8, but I've lived next to Section 8, where like the neighbors on Section 8. And yeah, they would trash, a place. They were known for that. But that was like kind of just it was like an era, I think. I think this, actually, you know what I think? I think the scarcity is much higher today. You have to think about affordable housing and just the cost of living today versus where it was. Like one of my mentees was like, he's 24. He's like, yo, I'm paying $3,500 a month in rent. And I'm like, what? He's just a 24-year-old guy. Fuck, $3,500. People are paying so much just to live now. He was like, imagine a guy who works at Starbucks, drives an hour to work to make like $15 an hour, like which is good money, decent money, but it's like he's like, can he pay $3,500 a month in rent? I'm like, no, he can't. So the scarcity of affordable housing is high right now, higher than ever. And they'll kick your ass off of Section 8 now. They will kick your ass out. It wasn't like that back then. You could trash somebody's house to get you another one. It was a different game. Now, there ain't really enough houses to go around like that. And people ain't trying to get put into those slum houses. Because that's what you'll get. You get a bunch of evictions and people putting you out, you'll get put in a slum house. The people with nice houses ain't going to take you. So that's what I would say there. You can get bad tenants anywhere. And I've seen equally as many bad market tenants as I have Section 8, and as many good market as I have Section 8. So Section 8 is just a conservative way to go because you can have a large portion of the rent paid by the government. And that's just a very safe way to secure your portfolio. That's a safe way to secure your portfolio. But you have to build well with Section 8 as well. You have to build durable. So I think that's part of it too. Build durable properties. Build durable properties. When you put in new trim and it's strong, they can't rip that shit off the hinges. Like they can't do it. But when you have that old beat up property that you barely put a dime into, and you're like, oh, they're tearing up my house. It's like, your house is old as shit. Your house is super old. And it's falling apart because it's dead. It needs a full gut rehab and you didn't do it. So there's a lot of that too within the game. You want your property to be durable. That's the purpose of the burst strategy. The burst strategy to me is not about going the fastest you possibly can. There are more ways to cut corners than the burst strategy. It's not necessarily about cash out refinances. It's about having the least amount of money in your deal for the best product. And the best product is always what you built, not what someone else built. It's what you built, not what someone else built. Because you can control putting in the, all new electric, all new plumbing, versus buying someone's corner cuts, potentially. That's what the burr strategy is about. That's why you want to do that burr, why you want to learn how to build. Because now you can build a durable product. Even if it's not profitable in the first 2 years, if you just hold the thing, it's going to appreciate probably like 50 to 100K in a good market. It's going to appreciate in value. It's going to kick you more cash flow. Rents will fluctuate and increase. It's going to put you in a good position. That's what the burst strategy is about. and you get killer tax benefits. So guys, we're out of questions. I hope that helped. We'll be doing another session on Wednesday, 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, with the What's a Mortgage family. Definitely tap into that to get more value. If you got value today, like, comment, subscribe, share the content with someone if you want to get value. And if you're interested in those programs, tap in, guys. Click the links in the description, book a call with me and the team, but tap into, the next ride along tour. Tickets are limited. For those who came, you can see we can only fit about 20 people on the bus. So we're not trying to bring 1 million people. We'll have 20 people there so I can spend time with everybody and really teach you guys the stuff, answer all your questions throughout the day. And then we have the Boots on the Ground program. Tap in before we run out of space and put you on a waiting list or something like that. So tap in, guys. Appreciate you. See you on the next one.